everybody, Martin Gilmore here. I thought I'd come back and make another video just about some basic bluegrass rhythm guitar tricks that you can use to embellish the songs that you're playing that don't go along with the basic strum patterns which I've taught before, or the bass lines which I've taught before. They're not the same thing, but they're other elements that I would introduce into my rhythm playing. And kind of with those three videos, you would have a good understanding of things you could do with the guitar to use the textures. And then there's a new video coming where I'll talk about how to lay all this stuff out and use it in a practical setting. If you haven't seen the video on the basic guitar strums, I would definitely check that out. I put a link to that here in the description, and then there's a link in the description also to my video about playing basic bluegrass bass lines. That's not what we're talking about today. Today we're going to talk about kind of special embellishments, including little arpeggio picks or cross picks, little what I would call marking the chords or stops, just some small techniques that you can use to add accents or textures or other things to your bluegrass guitar playing. The first thing that I would say is if you're not comfortable with the strumming pattern, get comfortable with that and leave this video for later on once you're comfortable with your basic strumming pattern. Today I'm just going to use the chords in the key of G. This is a G chord, this is a C chord, this is a D chord. So that's all you got to know. I play a G5 chord that you can see in this shape right here, and that's where we're going to start. So if we're doing our basic bass strum pattern like this, sometimes if you're at the beginning of a phrase, you might want to add a little bit of emphasis or a little bit of weight to that. So instead of doing a bass note at the beginning of a downbeat, you might play like kind of a dramatic or exaggerated strum of the whole guitar, something like this. Like that. I kind of let it take up the space of the bass note and sometimes a little bit of the off strum. You can kind of hear that sometimes I hit that off strum even after I play that dramatic strum. I call this marking the chord. So I don't know what else you would want to call it. Any other name is fine, but it's just a way of kind of emphasizing a change. So I might use it in the context of Bury Me Beneath the Willow. My heart is sad and I am lonely for the only one I love. You can hear on that word for again. When shall I see her? Oh, no, never, till we meet in heaven above. And then at the end I do that down up strum. It just adds a little bit of texture, a little bit of a break to whatever I'm doing, a little more emphasis to the singing. That's a marked chord. Now, anything like that, you don't want it to disrupt the groove of the song. So you should never do that if it disrupts the timing of whatever else you're doing. It's your responsibility as a rhythm guitar player to provide a really solid platform for the song to exist on top of. So if something like that gets in the way of you keeping that solid platform of rhythm going, you shouldn't do it. You should always make a decision in your rhythm guitar playing to support the song, not just to do it because you can. So that means before you take it to the jam session or take it to the band, practice it with your metronome and feel really comfortable with it, knowing that you can hit it every single time. That's a marked chord. Now, similarly, another texture that you can provide, especially on like a gentler song, would be a kind of arpeggiated pick or a cross pick. Basically, you would take like a G chord like this one, and rather than do like a bass up, down, up strum like I had taught in the video, you could do a cross pick where it's the same rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but I'm playing individual strings. So Bury Me Beneath the Willow, this would work really good because it's kind of a gentle song. My heart is sad and I am lonely. Now that's considerably slower. If we want to go the same speed that we were going before, you have to get really good and accurate with your right hand. My heart is sad and I am lonely for the only one I love. And you you have to kind of figure out what bass notes you want to play. So here I'm playing an F sharp against a D chord. So that's the third of the D chord there. Just because I don't have enough strings to kind of keep that going if I just do that 3-string thing. So you have to kind of choose what bass notes you're going to play. But if you combine that with a marked chord, you can get a lot of cool texture and give yourself some place to go. My heart is sad and I am lonely for the only one I love. When shall I see her? Oh, no, never, till we meet in heaven above. Oh, bury me beneath. So that gives you a different texture that you can play with. It's just a little basic cross pick thing, and all I'm doing is I'm playing kind of a G chord. I play the low note, an upstroke on the D string, downstroke on the G string, upstroke on the B string. That's one measure, 8/8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, etc. Over the C chord, I play the bass note on the A string. On the D chord, I'm using this F sharp note, which I'm grabbing with my thumb. Sounds kind of cool. Back to a G. And if you want a different texture, you can use your regular G chord if you want. Suspend it with your first finger. So that's the arpeggiated picking. So marked chords, arpeggiated picking. And then the last little thing that I wanted to show to you today is just kind of how to play some rhythm and do some rhythmic stuff with your left hand. Now, I've taught some videos on here about Western swing, and we do this trick a lot in Western swing, and it's a left-hand mute. There's kind of two different popular mutes that people use. There's a palm mute, which happens in your right hand and makes your guitar sound kind of thumpy. I don't use that a lot when I'm playing bluegrass stuff. When I'm playing the blues or even honky-tonk, I might use that trick a little bit. Not to say I won't ever use a palm mute. But in general, when I'm playing rhythm, that's not the mute I use. But I do sometimes use a mute with the left hand. So if I'm playing a G chord, if I stop pressing down the strings on my G chord, and I don't take my hand off the strings, but I just stop pressing down and keep my fingers on the strings, and then I kind of lay my first finger across and get a little lazy with my middle finger so it touches all the strings of the guitar and makes it sound like that. I've muted the whole guitar. That's a left hand mute. Why would I want to do that? Well, if I have something bouncy, I can stop it. That's what we do in Western swing, where we might play a G6 chord and mute it. In bluegrass, I could use that to kind of emulate a mandolin chop. If I was playing and the mandolin was taking the solo, or I wanted it to be more rhythmic, I could do something like that's not ideal for the guitar, but a lot of times what I would use a left-hand mute for is kind of a trick that you hear a lot of times in mash grass, which is kind of the set pump. Now, I'm not the best at this kind of thing. There are definitely guys out there who are a lot better at it and live in that mash grass culture, but I can introduce it to you at least so you can mess around with the technique. And that left-hand mute is a kind of thing that people might use to set up a really strong downbeat. So a lot of times you would be playing rhythm and it might be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll really use that marked chord in a really dramatic fashion on the downbeat to give a lot of drive. So it might sound like this. Got to get the timing just right. I don't think I did it there. That can be really disruptive if you do that too much. But it's cool every once in a while. Maybe there's a part of a song where you really want to have a big emphasis, a really, really strong downbeat. If you do it every single time that downbeat comes around, that gets really distracting and it takes away all the magic of that trick. These are all kind of like special effects, and like George Lucas said about special effects in Star Wars, like special effects without a story are pretty boring thing. So you have to have a context for doing something like that. But in order to do that, the trick is that you do a left hand mute. So I mute all the strings with this, and you have to stay in that position because you have to get right back to the chord. But I mute all the strings with my left hand, hit all the strings of the guitar with my right hand hard, and then I hit it again with a strong downbeat. So that's the left hand mute. All you got to do is practice chord, chop, chord, chop, chord, chop. If you're playing Western swing, that's like your whole technique is doing that chord, chop thing. We do a little bit of that in bluegrass, but the most common use of the left hand mute might be something like that stop and the emphasis of that. There's 3 new tricks for the bluegrass guitar for playing rhythm. Much more to come. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, stay tuned. More coming.